Okay, so picture this. It's Sunday evening, you're scrolling through your phone and you see someone your age just bought their first property. Or maybe they're posting about their thriving business and you're sitting there thinking, I could do that. I have the ideas, I know what I need to do, but then Monday comes and nothing changes. You hit snooze, you go to work, you come home exhausted, and that dream, it just stays a dream. Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to tell you. Your ambition means absolutely nothing without a system that forces you to act. And if you don't fix this now, you're going to wake up 5 years from now in the exact same place, wondering where all that time went. My name is Praku, and I spend way too much time thinking about why smart, ambitious people stay broke, while average people with mediocre ideas somehow end up wealthy. And look, if you've ever felt like you're stuck in this weird middle ground where you're too ambitious to be satisfied, but too, let's call it, strategically lazy to actually execute, this video is specifically for you. We're going to break down exactly why this happens, and more importantly, what you can do about it starting today. Now, before we get into this, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and drop a like on this video. I know, everyone says that, but here's the thing. If you're serious about changing your financial situation, subscribing is literally the easiest first step. It's a micro commitment, and we're going to need you to get comfortable with those. Here's what most people don't realize. Society has sold us this narrative that hard work equals success. Work hard, get promoted, save your money, retire at 65, right? Wrong. That's the trap. Because what they don't tell you is that the system is specifically designed to keep you working hard while making someone else wealthy. Let me show you something. According to the Federal Reserve's 2023 Survey of Consumer Finances, the median American household has a net worth of about $192,900. Sounds decent, right? But here's the kicker. Most of that is tied up in their primary residence. When you strip out home equity, the median American has less than $8,000 in actual liquid wealth. $8,000. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but that's just because people don't save enough. Not exactly. The average American savings rate hovers around 3 to 5% of their income. But even if you're disciplined and save 10% of a $50,000 salary, that's $5,000 a year. Compound that at, say, 7% annual return over 20 years, and you'll have around $204,000, which sounds great until you realize inflation means that $204,000 will have the purchasing power of maybe $125,000 in today's dollars. So you work for 20 years, save diligently, and you're still not wealthy. You're just slightly less broke than everyone else. This is the game. And most people play it their entire lives without ever questioning it. Look, let's be honest about what ambitious but lazy really means. It doesn't mean you're incapable or unmotivated. It means you've unconsciously optimized your life for comfort rather than growth. And our brains are wired to do this. There's this concept in behavioral economics called present bias. Basically, our brains massively overvalue immediate comfort and undervalue future rewards. A study from Stanford University found that when people are offered $100 today versus $110 tomorrow, most choose the $100. That's a 10% return in 24 hours. Annualized, that's something like a 3,678% return, but we still choose the immediate reward. This is why you stay at your comfortable job even though you know you should be building something on the side. This is why you watch Netflix instead of learning that skill you said you'd master. Your brain is literally hijacking your ambition in real time, and you're losing thousands, potentially millions of dollars because of it. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Most people think wealth building is linear. Save more, invest more, get more. But that's not how it actually works. There are 3 distinct levels to building wealth, and most people never make it past level 1. Level 1, trading time for money. This is where 90% of people spend their entire lives. You have a job, you get paid a salary, maybe you get a 3% raise every year. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median weekly earnings for full-time workers in the US is about $1,145. That's roughly $59,500 per year. After taxes, you're taking home maybe $45,000. Here's the math everyone ignores. If you're making $45,000 and spending $42,000 to live, which is pretty typical, you're saving $3,000 a year. At that rate, it would take you over 333 years to reach your first $1 million without any investment returns. 333 years.
Level 2. Trading money for more money. This is where you start investing. You're putting that $3,000 into index funds, maybe real estate if you can scrape together a down payment. If you're disciplined and you average 7% returns, that $3,000 annual investment grows to about $303,000 over 30 years. Better than level 1, sure, but still not wealthy. And here's what nobody mentions. You just spent 30 years grinding to accumulate an amount of money that a moderately successful business could generate in 2 to 3 years. Level 3. Trading leverage for exponential returns. This is where the game changes completely. This is where you're using other people's time, other people's money, or other people's audiences to create exponential growth. You start a business, you create content, you build systems that work without you. And here's the controversial part. You can't be lazy at level 3. You just can't. But, and this is crucial, you can be lazy at levels 1 and 2 and still make it to level 3 if you're strategic. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to just hustle harder or work 18 hours a day. That's garbage advice. Here's what actually works. Rule 1. Automate your baseline. Set up automatic transfers. The moment your paycheck hits, 20% goes straight to investments. Not tomorrow, not when you have time to think about it, immediately. A study by Richard Thaler, who won the Nobel Prize for this stuff, showed the people who automate their savings save 4 to 5x more than those who manually transfer money. Why? Because every manual decision is a chance for your present bias to sabotage you. Remove the decision entirely. Now, you might be thinking, I can't afford to save 20%. Okay, fair. Start with 10% or 5%. The percentage isn't the point, the automation is. Because here's what most people don't realize. Saving $100 a month automated will always beat saving $200 a month manually. The first one happens 12 times a year guaranteed. The second one happens maybe twice. Rule 2. Build one income stream that compounds. Here's where ambitious, lazy people have a huge advantage. You don't need to start 17 different side hustles. You need one thing that compounds over time. What do I mean by compounds? Simple. Work you do once that keeps paying you. Content creation, digital products, rental income, dividend stocks, royalties. These all compound. Let me give you a real example. Say you spend 10 hours creating a digital course and sell it for $50. If you sell one copy a week, that's $2,600 a year from 10 hours of work. That's $260 per hour. Do that once a month for a year, 120 hours total, and you've created $31,200 in annual income from work that's done. Compare that to working an extra 120 hours out of $25 an hour job. You'd make $3,000 once. The difference is literally 10x. Rule 3. Use loss aversion to your advantage. Here's a fun psychological hack. Studies show that people are roughly 2.5x more motivated to avoid losing something than they are to gain something of equal value. This is called loss aversion. So instead of trying to motivate yourself with rewards, if I do this, I'll make money, flip it. Make public commitments. Tell people your goals. Put money on the line using apps like Beeminder or StickK. Suddenly, your lazy brain kicks into gear because now you're trying to avoid the pain of loss. I did this myself. I told my entire audience I was going to post weekly videos for a year. That public commitment forced me to execute even on days when I didn't feel like it. And that consistency completely changed my trajectory. Okay, here's something nobody wants to hear. You're running out of time. Not in a dramatic, your life is over way, but in a compound interest, opportunity cost way. Let me show you why this matters. If you start investing $500 a month at age 25, assuming 7% annual returns, you'll have about $1.37 million by age 65. If you wait until you're 35 to start, just 10 years, that same $500 a month only grows to $611,000. You lost $759,000 by waiting a decade. That's the real cost of being ambitious but lazy. It's not that you'll never get there, it's that waiting makes it exponentially harder. All right, so what can you actually do today? 3 things. First, open your banking app right now and set up an automatic transfer. Even if it's just $50, do it before you finish this video. That's your level 1 sorted. Second, write down one skill you could learn that compounds. Don't learn it yet, just write it down. Video editing, copywriting, basic coding, whatever. Just commit to the idea. Third, tell one person about one goal. Make it specific, make it uncomfortable, make it something you'd be embarrassed not to follow through on. These 3 actions take maybe 15 minutes total, and they'll create more financial momentum than months of thinking about it. The bottom line, look, here's the thing. Being ambitious but lazy isn't a character flaw, it's a systems problem. You've been trying to fight your nature instead of designing a life that works with it. The wealthiest people aren't the hardest workers, they're the best architects. They build systems that force the right behaviors. They automate the boring stuff. They focus their limited energy on the few decisions that actually matter. You don't need to become a different person. You just need to stop fighting yourself and start working with who you already are. So yeah, you're ambitious but lazy. Great. Use that. Build something that works even when you don't feel like it. Because 5 years from now, you're either going to be thanking yourself for starting today, or you're going to be sitting in the exact same place wondering why nothing ever changed. The choice is yours, but the clock is ticking. If you found this helpful, check out my video on how to actually start investing as a complete beginner. I'll link it right up there. And seriously, subscribe. Future you will thank you. I'll see you in the next one.